Have you ever asked God, why is it taking so long? You've prayed, believed, waited, and still nothing seems to move. You've seen others receive what you've been waiting for, and deep inside you whisper, God, did you forget me? But what if the waiting isn't punishment? What if the waiting is the promise in disguise? Because the truth is, waiting doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means everything is happening, just not in your sight. God doesn't delay to disappoint you. He delays to develop you. He's not ignoring your prayers. He's preparing your heart to hold the weight of what you asked for. Sometimes he slows the process because he loves you too much to give you something that would destroy you if it came too soon. You see, the waiting season is sacred. It's the classroom where trust is taught and character is refined. It's where you learn to believe without proof, to worship without results, to love God for who he is, not just for what he can give. The delay is not a denial. It's divine preparation, and maybe that's what God is doing in your life right now. He's teaching you how to stand still without losing faith. He's showing you that his silence is not absence, it's strategy, because while you're waiting, he's aligning. While you're questioning, he's constructing. While you're growing impatient, he's growing you. Waiting feels like stillness, but in heaven, it's motion. Every unanswered prayer is being rearranged into timing. Every not yet is protecting you from something you can't yet see. And one day, when everything falls into place, you'll understand why God made you wait, because what he was preparing was bigger than what you were praying for. Before we continue, check if you're subscribed to the channel. If this message is already speaking to your heart, like this video, and tell me in the comments, what do you think God is preparing you for in this waiting season? The silence of God is one of the hardest things to understand. You pray and nothing happens. You seek answers and heaven stays quiet. You start to wonder if your words even reach him anymore. But what if his silence isn't rejection? What if it's revelation in disguise? God's silence doesn't mean he's absent. It means he's working in ways that noise would only distract you from. He's not ignoring you. He's inviting you to listen differently. Because when God goes quiet, he's not withholding his presence. He's deepening your perception. In the silence, faith grows roots. It's in the quiet moments that your trust stops, depending on results, and starts depending on relationship. You begin to love God, not because he gives, but because he is. And that's what true faith looks like, believing even when heaven doesn't echo back. There are things God can only teach you when it's quiet, because if he answered every prayer instantly, you'd learn to rely on his hand and forget his heart. So he hides behind stillness, not to test you, but to transform you. He's training your soul to hear his whisper instead of demanding his shout. And it's in those moments of silence that something beautiful happens. Your anxiety begins to lose power. You stop measuring your worth by visible answers and start recognizing his presence in invisible peace. You realize that silence doesn't mean abandonment. It means intimacy. It's the quiet space where dependence becomes devotion. So if you're in a season where God feels distant, remember this: he's not gone. He's guiding. He's not ignoring you. He's instructing you. His silence is not empty. It's sacred. It's the pause between the promise and the proof, where your faith is being refined into something unshakable. Because one day, when he finally speaks, you'll recognize his voice. Not because it's loud, but because the silence taught you how to hear it. Waiting isn't just about time, it's about transformation. You think you're waiting for something to happen, but God is using the waiting to make you happen. Because before He changes your circumstances, He changes your capacity. Before He fulfills a promise, He forms a person. The waiting season is a fire, not one that burns to destroy, but one that purifies. It burns away impatience, ego, fear, and the need to control. It exposes what's fragile and strengthens what's eternal. And though you don't see it, every silent day is shaping you into someone stronger, calmer, and more grounded in faith. You asked God to bless you, but blessings have weight. They require character to carry them, and that's what He's been building in you through the delay, the depth to sustain what's coming. Because if He gave it too soon, your gift would crush you. So instead, He refines you until you become unshakable. Waiting tests your patience, yes, but more than that, it reveals your posture. Do you trust God only when He moves, or do you trust Him even when He's still? Because true faith isn't proven by answered prayers, it's proven by unwavering belief in unanswered ones. That's what refinement looks like. Faith that doesn't flinch. The longer you wait, the deeper your roots grow. And roots don't grow in comfort. They grow underground, in darkness, in silence. They grow where no one sees. And when the fruit finally appears, everyone notices the harvest, but only you and God know the hidden process that made it possible. So if you feel stuck in a long season of waiting, remember this: you're not being delayed, you're being developed. The fire you're in isn't punishment, it's preparation. And one day, when what you prayed for finally arrives, you'll realize you're not the same person who first asked for it. You'll be stronger, wiser, refined, because God doesn't make you wait to make you weary. He makes you wait to make you ready. There are seasons when life feels completely still. You pray, you work, you wait, and nothing moves. It feels like heaven has forgotten your address, like your faith has stopped bearing a fruit. But that's the paradox of walking with God. When nothing seems to be happening, that's often when everything is. God works best in silence because real change rarely announces itself. Seeds don't grow with noise. They grow buried, unseen, in the dark. And while you're wondering if your prayers are doing anything, heaven is rearranging everything. He's aligning people, shifting timelines, preparing the ground, and protecting what He's building in you. You just can't see it yet. We're so used to visible progress that we call stillness a problem. But with God, stillness is strategy. He pauses what you can see to prepare what you can't. And just because your season looks quiet doesn't mean your purpose is sleeping. It's maturing. The roots of your promise are growing deeper, stronger, unseen. One day you'll look back and realize that the waiting wasn't wasted time. It was sacred timing. You'll see how every delay protected you, how every detour refined you, and how every unanswered prayer was really an answer in disguise. God wasn't being distant, He was being deliberate. When nothing seems to move, that's the moment to strengthen your trust, because faith isn't built when everything is visible, it's built in the dark, when you have nothing left to hold but His word. And it's in those invisible seasons that He does His most visible work later. So don't mistake stillness for stagnation. What feels like a pause is really preparation. God hasn't stopped working. He's just working beneath the surface where miracles begin. And one day, what he's been forming quietly will bloom loudly. If this spoke to your heart, write in the comments, "I will wait with faith." One of the greatest struggles of faith is learning to trust God's timing when your heart is begging for speed. We live in a world that worships immediacy, instant results, instant answers, instant change. But heaven doesn't rush. God's plans don't run on the clock of your expectations. He moves according to purpose, not pressure. You see, our timing is emotional, driven by what we feel, by what we fear we'll lose if we don't get it soon. But God's timing is eternal. It's anchored in what will last, not in what will please you for a moment. That's why his wait often feels painful, because he's aligning things that your impatience would destroy. Imagine a seed demanding to bloom before its roots are ready. It would wither before it ever saw the sun. That's what rushing God looks like. You're trying to live in a future your foundation can't yet sustain. So he slows you down, not to deny you, but to deepen you. Because premature blessings become burdens, but blessings that arrive on time become breakthroughs. When God delays, he's not punishing you. He's protecting what he promised. He's ensuring that when the door opens, you'll be strong enough to stay inside. He's teaching you to rest in his rhythm instead of wrestling with your own. And that's how you begin to see that time isn't your enemy. It's your teacher. God's time doesn't bow to your deadlines, because he's not just trying to meet your desires, he's preparing your destiny. And the things you think you're waiting for, they're also waiting for you to become who they require. So if the clock feels heavy, breathe. You're not late. You're right on heaven's schedule. Every delay is divine choreography, the space between who you are and who you're becoming. And when it's time, what's yours will arrive. Without confusion, competition, or chaos, because what's meant for you can't be rushed, and it can't be missed. It's not running away. It's running on God's time. You think God is making you wait because he's forgotten you, but the truth is, he's shielding you. Every delay is a wall built by mercy. Every closed door is a whisper from heaven saying, "Not yet, it's not safe there." Because sometimes what you're praying for would harm you if it arrived too early. God's delays are not cruel. They're careful. He withholds not to hurt you, but to hide you. He keeps certain things away because he knows how easily we can turn blessings into burdens when we're not ready to handle them. He waits until your heart is strong enough, your mind calm enough, your spirit wise enough to recognize the difference between what's good and what's godly. You've probably looked back on moments where you thought you lost something, an opportunity, a relationship, a dream, only to realize later that God was protecting you from what you couldn't yet see. He saw the heartbreak that would have followed. He saw the disappointment that would have drained your spirit. He saw how success too soon would have suffocated your purpose. So instead of saying no, he said not yet. And that's the kindness of his timing, protection disguised as patience. He doesn't rush your process because he's not just preparing the blessing, he's preparing you to survive it. Sometimes the wait is the only thing standing between you and your own undoing. If God gave you everything the moment you asked, you might stop seeking him after receiving it. So he waits, not to punish your desire, but to purify it. He's teaching you that what's truly meant for you will never need to be forced, and what's from him will never come with confusion. Every delay has purpose. Every pause has protection. God's timing is not random. It's refined. And when he finally says go, you'll see why he made you stay. You'll understand that the wait was never about withholding. It was about watching over you. The waiting wasn't a wall. It was a shield. And behind it, he was keeping you safe from what your heart was too eager to run toward. In a world where everything is instant, God still works slowly. Because what is eternal can't be rushed. Every delay has depth. Everything that takes time to grow carries weight, meaning, and permanence. And that's why the things of God take longer. Because he's not building something temporary. He's building something timeless. The longer you wait, the stronger the roots grow. You might not see it now, but what's hidden beneath the surface is being fortified by time. Every unanswered prayer, every silent season, every moment that felt like pause, it's all adding value to what's coming, because what comes easily can leave just as easily. But what comes through faith, through fire, through waiting, stays. You don't treasure what's handed to you. You treasure what you've had to grow into. God allows the delay so that when the promise arrives, you'll recognize its worth. The waiting transforms the blessing from something you wanted into something you were shaped to carry. And in that process, your gratitude deepens, your discernment sharpens, and your faith matures. There's beauty in slowness, because slowness forces you to see, to notice what he's been doing inside of you while you were focused on what wasn't happening around you. The delay becomes sacred when you realize that it wasn't blocking your destiny, it was building it. Some things take time because they're meant to last a lifetime. You wouldn't rush the sunrise, the blooming of a flower, or the growth of a tree, because you know beauty needs time. The same is true for your calling. It's not being postponed, it's being perfected. So instead of asking, when will it happen, start thanking God that it hasn't happened yet. Because every day it takes, it becomes more refined, more stable, more divine. You're not being denied. You're being trusted with something that's worth waiting for. If this message touched you, write in the comments. I trust God's timing. The longer the wait, the deeper the change. Because waiting isn't something happening to you. It's something happening in you. You think the delay is about what you're going to receive, but God is more concerned with who you're becoming while you wait. He's shaping your heart, refining your motives, and stretching your faith until what you want no longer matters more than who He is. Every waiting season has a mirror. And when you look into it, you begin to see the parts of yourself that couldn't have been revealed any other way. Your impatience, your doubt, your hidden fears, all of them surface in the waiting. But that's not failure, that's transformation. Because what God reveals, He intends to heal. Waiting strips away illusion. It removes the noise of what you thought you needed and replaces it with the stillness of who you truly are. In the quiet, you learn to hear His voice again, not the one that gives you everything you ask for, but the one that teaches you to trust, even when He doesn't. That's where faith matures. Not in answered prayers, but in surrendered hearts. The longer you wait, the more you discover that the purpose of waiting was never just to get what you asked for. It was to make you ready to carry it without losing yourself in the process. God uses the delay to align your desires with His. He doesn't want you to just reach the promise. He wants you to still have peace when you do. And one day you'll realize that the wait changed you. You'll notice how you no longer panic when things take time. You'll feel how your spirit now moves slower, steadier, wiser. You'll look back and understand that God didn't keep you waiting to test your patience. He kept you waiting to reveal your power. The wait didn't just deliver what you prayed for, it delivered you. Because in every moment of stillness, God was transforming you into the version of yourself that could finally live what He promised. There's a purpose behind every delay, even the ones that break your heart. You see only the waiting, but heaven sees the weaving. Every slow moment, every unanswered prayer, every closed door, they're all threads in a pattern far bigger than your view. God is not stalling, He's synchronizing. We often mistake divine precision for divine distance. We think the delay means He's forgotten us, when in truth, it's proof that He's paying close attention. Because rushed things break, and God is too careful with your destiny to let it fall apart in your hands. You were never waiting for no reason. He's been using the time to mature what's coming and to mature you enough to handle it. He's aligning people, places, and opportunities, things that still need time to take shape. And while you feel stuck, He's orchestrating details you haven't even imagined yet. The delay teaches dependence. It trains you to lean on faith instead of sight, to trust the process instead of demanding progress. Because the truth is, what you learn in the waiting will sustain you when the blessing arrives. The longer the preparation, the longer the purpose will last. You're not late, you're not forgotten, you're being positioned. And every time you think God is doing nothing, He's actually protecting everything. He knows when your heart is strong enough to receive without breaking, and when your spirit is grounded enough to give without losing itself again. The delay doesn't mean you've done something wrong. It means you're too valuable to be rushed. And one day, you'll see how perfectly timed it all was. You'll realize that if He had answered you earlier, you would have settled for less. But because He made you wait, you'll recognize that what's coming isn't just an answer, it's alignment. The waiting was never wasted time. It was the sacred place where your purpose was being prepared. Now you understand. The waiting was never a punishment. It was a holy process. God wasn't ignoring you. He was preparing you. He wasn't silent because He didn't care. He was silent because He was building something sacred inside you. Every delay that broke your heart was actually protecting your destiny. Every unanswered prayer was teaching you how to listen. And every season of stillness was stretching your faith beyond what words could explain. The waiting shaped you into someone who can now walk in peace, even when nothing around you makes sense. God's timing is never cruel. It's calculated, careful. Compassionate. He waits until your spirit is ready to carry what your emotions once begged for. He allows time to pass so that when the promise finally arrives, it doesn't just satisfy you, it sustains you. Because what He's been preparing for you isn't fragile. It's not something that fades quickly or breaks easily. It's built to last. It's rooted in purpose, not in pressure. And when it comes, it will carry the fragrance of everything you learned while waiting: faith, patience, gratitude, and strength. One day, You'll look back and realize that the waiting was where you found God more deeply than you ever did in any answered prayer. Because the gift of waiting isn't just what you receive at the end. It's who you become in the process. You'll see that he was never late. He was exact. Every second of delay was divine precision. So if you've been waiting for something, don't lose heart. God's silence isn't neglect, it's nurture. And when his now finally meets your still waiting, everything will make sense. If you made it to this part of the video, that means this message was for you. Check if you're subscribed to the channel, because here, every word is meant to guide you closer to peace. Leave a comment saying, "My waiting is part of God's purpose." That's your declaration today, your reminder that delay is not denial. And don't forget to like this video and watch the next one that's appearing on your screen. It continues this same journey of faith, trust, and divine timing. Because sometimes the most powerful miracle God performs isn't in what he gives, but in who you become while you wait.